Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to give a quick update of where I'm at 30 months off antidepressants and benzos. I guess I could say antipsychotics as well because I did take them, but those were very brief compared to my long-term use of SSRIs and then my reinstatement that lasted a few months, and then I took benzos for 3 months. So I had posted a couple of videos in the last few weeks, or I guess it was maybe longer ago than that. About 6 weeks ago, I started having sinus symptoms, and I have a long history of sinus issues. And this time, I think they were either brought on by the wildfires because Canada has had horrible wildfires all summer, or it was just a run of the mill infection. I am more prone to them because of my long standing diabetes. But anyway, I thought I was doing the smart thing by using a nasal spray rather than antibiotics because I do tend to need antibiotics when I get a sinus infection, and I've had a couple of antibiotic setbacks in this journey, so I really did not want to take them again. So I thought I was doing, the lesser of two evils by using a nasal spray, and I had looked up the side effects, didn't see anything nervous system, and then I started having a reaction, and then I dug deeper and realized there's tons of nervous system side effects when I read real patient reviews. So it was a brutal, brutal setback. It was actually worse than the antibiotic setback. It actually really scared me a lot. But in the last couple of days, I really feel like I'm recovering from that. So I am the type of person who cannot take any medications whatsoever since this injury. I can't take any pharmaceuticals. I can't take any over-the-counter medication. I still react to like Tylenol, and this nasal spray had steroids in it, or corticosteroids. I can't take those. But a lot of the sensitivities that I had prior to this, throughout this injury, like cleaners and chemicals and artificial sweeteners and caffeine, have subsided. And so I'm hoping, I'm hoping that one day the medication sensitivities will subside. But on the other hand, I'm like, I don't ever want a pharmaceutical, anything to come near my lips or skin anytime ever again in my life. So I felt normal pretty much all day yesterday, and then today started out a little bit rocky because I didn't get much sleep last night. My daughter kept me awake, but then this evening I felt pretty much completely normal. So that's kind of my timeline usually for setbacks, is about a month and I start to feel better. But man, can they be brutal, even 30 months out. So, but I mean, when I do have windows now, I feel completely normal, which is good because when I kind of started out in I didn't get my first window, which was an hour long, until 6 months off. And it was kind of only a partial window. Like I had symptoms still, but they were bearable instead of unbearable and pure survival mode. And now when I have a window, it's much, much longer. Like I've had them, last a month, since 21 months is when I started to turn a corner, and then my windows got longer and longer, and I've had month-long windows. But I had this really bad setback about 6 weeks ago from this steroid, and just in the last couple of days I feel like I'm coming out of it. So no more meds for me. But really, the symptoms that I do have left, or I guess if I have a wave, or this setback was different because it brought back a lot of acute symptoms, but if I'm having a wave, typically what I have left is, it still kind of varies. Like sometimes the symptoms kind of morph, but typically what I will get is, in a wave, is some insomnia, anxiety, akathisia feelings, and intrusive. Like I have a lot of the mental symptoms, but and that still sounds like it's brutal, but I live a fully functioning life now. I take care of my daughter full time. I am getting back into the workforce. I started a virtual assistant business, and I do that just very part-time. And then I'm starting to coach under Dr. Joseph Witt-Doring. I'm actually starting training in a couple of days here. And I run my own errands. I take care of things around the house. And just 2 years ago, or 2.5 years ago, I was sleeping in bed with my mom. If I could sleep at all. I had such bad cortisol rushes, such bad insomnia, and just feelings of like a bomb would go off in my head every time I would drift off to sleep, and the hypnagogic, like tons of jerking, and it was just such a nightmare, and just severe anxiety and panic attacks and DPDR, and it was just like I was dodging things that weren't there and hearing stuff, and it was so incredibly debilitating. I mean, I've come a long way, and when I do have those four symptoms I just listed, they are only in a wave, and now my windows are bigger. Well, typically, like before this steroid setback, my windows are way longer and more often than my waves. Things were really rocky the last month, but then, like I said yesterday, I felt normal all day, and then today, since like, I don't know, 3, 4 o'clock, I felt completely normal. So I'm just, to me, to think that I could be completely free from all of this one day is just absolutely amazing. But I'm kind of at the point now where if things kind of stay where they are, I mean, prior to my setback and where they were the last couple of days, I'm good with that forever, really. I mean, my symptoms aren't so distressing anymore that I can't function. And even my anxiety was just, it was so bad. And now it, I mean, it'll spike, but it's not like debilitating me anymore. Like I remember my mom would come and lay in bed with me every night. This was in 2021 and 2020, like when I was reinstating. And I remember she would have to like not only lay with me so I could try to go to sleep, but she would like hold me and rock me like a baby. Like I could not self-soothe. And I just felt so crazy all of the time, and my whole body was just, it was jerking and moving and tremoring, and she would like bear hug me and rock me to try to soothe me and try to kind of get me through those times. And I was so terrified of going to bed. I remember bed was just this huge feat that I had to face there, and I would just stand at the end of my bed and look at it and just dread because of all of the horrific. I was so scared to be alone. And then as soon as I'd wake up in the morning, if I did manage to fall asleep, I would immediately go to my mom's room and lay in bed with her. I just could not be alone. And I didn't leave the house. I didn't, like, that was when I was in the process of getting disability. I didn't work. I had to quit. I had been working and I had to quit my jobs because I could not function. And so, yeah, I have those four symptoms left, and they vary in intensity, but it's nothing like that completely debilitates me anymore, even in a wave. The setbacks are a little bit different because they tend to be more intense and more constant. But like I said, like they usually only last about a month for me, and then I start to come out of them again. So, but just all of the things, like I was watching some earlier videos of me, past videos today, and just looking at myself and thinking about the state that I remember being in at that time was just horrendous. Like I remember just calling trauma therapists and psychics. I remember calling psychics and being like, am I ever going to be normal again? Am I ever going to get out of this? Am I ever going to function again? I remember just calling psych, and I didn't even have money. I remember just like charging up my credit card, and maybe I had a little bit of savings. I don't remember, but I did not have the money to be doing that, but I was so desperate for answers, and going to multiple churches. I've talked about that in other videos, and asking them to pray the evil out of me because I just felt so possessed. And just feeling like stuff was ripping through my spine, and just an absolute nightmare. I went to 3 different churches. I had pastors come to my house. I had my family put oil on me and crosses, and I just anything to try to make me feel better. So yeah, I look forward to the future now, and I don't, dread going to bed at night, and I don't even really fear the waves anymore because I know I know I'm going to come out of them. And the setbacks always scare me initially a little bit, but then I know the pattern of coming out of those as well. And I actually talked to someone recently who has the same pattern of when they're coming out of a setback. So I'll just share that in case, I don't know, in case these are your symptoms or this has happened to you. So when I go into a setback and get so many of my acute symptoms back, the first thing that'll start to improve for me when I'm sort of like starting to come out of that setback is my sleep will return. It can be shaky and rocky and kind of slow, but it'll return first. And then the anxiety will start to go down, and then the akathisia feelings will start to improve, and then the mental is always the last to get better for me. But it always goes in that order every time I'm recovering from a setback. And yeah, I mean, a lot of the old symptoms, like I've made symptoms videos before, several of them you can check out, and I don't really have, I had a laundry list of symptoms, and I didn't even remember them all. I think I had 50 or 60, and that wasn't even all of them. There was just so many, and a lot of them are gone now. But yeah, it's really cool to come out the other side. I recently did an interview with Angie Peacock. You can check that out. It's actually on her channel and her Facebook business page. So either one of those you can check out if you're interested in watching it. And we just had such a good conversation. I love Angie, and just how beautiful it is to come out the other side of this, and how you have such a deep appreciation for the little things, and life just feels blissful, like just being able to sit and enjoy a cup of decaf coffee, or read a book, or watch a movie, or hang out with your family, and just be able to engage in conversation with people, and not be constantly body scanning and worried that your involuntary movements are going to start up. And I remember one time, like when I had started getting short windows, I went to a furniture store, and I remember I just was jerking like crazy, and my whole body was moving, and I was like, I need to get out of here. And it had just kind of sprung up out of nowhere. And because I thought I had kind of beat that symptom, but then it was, come back in waves and out of nowhere. And I remember thinking, like, people must think I'm on illicit drugs. Like, it's just, it was just so bad. And yeah, I mean, I'm just doing so much better, and I look forward to the future. And the future is bright, and you just got to get through whatever you're going through now. Just cling to whatever keeps you alive. And if you can find even one person that's going through the same thing as you are, that you can hold, like I'm further along in that now, but if you can find someone who's kind of at the same timeline as you and maybe has similar symptoms, not so you can like negatively feed off each other, but if you can kind of hold each other's hand even from afar, and just get through it, and just call out to each other when you need to, or whatever. I mean, that's what I did early on, and it was just such a lifeline for me. Or if you can get a coach, or if you can, anything you can do to help. Like, and I talked with Angie as well about how there's a lot of people who I'll give advice to, or I'll say, you have to do things that contribute to general health. Like, if you were not in this state, what are the things that people do to generally stay healthy? Try and get out into the sun, try to just walk, or maybe just glide around in a pool, or try and get rest. I mean, if you're able to sleep, then rest as much as you can. Spend time, even if it's just on the phone or in a video chat, with people who have healthy nervous systems. I know you feel like you maybe can't relate to them, but there's an energy exchange there. And I just had a conversation with someone today who has pretty bad akathisia, and she verified this, and it was something that it kind of surprised her, because anything you can do to nurture your nervous system, like people that you feel safe around, who do believe you, or just listen to you and don't gaslight you into thinking that you're mentally ill, or you need psychiatric help, or you're not medically injured, or medication injured. Find the people who believe you and who support you, even if it's just one person, and just cling to that person. And not, of course, spending all of your time with people in the drug community. I think that can be toxic. But if you can find someone in your real life that believes you and supports you. For me, it was my mom and my grandma, but even that took a while before my mom truly understood. She had to talk to someone who went through this and came out the other side, and that person really opened her eyes to what was going on with me. And it made all of the difference. And then she was like, okay, I'm going to support you through this. We're going to get through this, and cried together and rocked together. And oh man, I would just sit there and just bounce my legs up and down, and just like the electricity was just so bad. And my mom would just hold me and rock me. I have videos of that as well. And I just, spend time with, even just talking on the phone to people who have healthy nervous systems. There is an exchange of energy, and that sounds lame, but trust me, it's a real thing. And anything, that you can do, like eat as clean as you can. I know not everybody has access to, perfect food, but I mean, if you can just do as good as you can, it's all cumulative. It makes a difference. And I know some people will get angry at that and say, well, I have a severe brain injury, none of that's going to work. But it does. It's all cumulative. It helps in the long run, doing those things, grounding, spending time, with your feet in the earth. Again, it sounds small, but over time, like, it does make a difference. If you can spend any amount of time, I know some people can't really lay down or get comfortable, but even if you're walking around or whatever, if you can try and do a walking meditation or praying or anything you can do, trust me, it helps in the long run. So, I'll maybe make another video about, what I do in a wave, or I know I've made videos about that before, but like really get into detail about some of the things that can contribute to your recovery over time. Or let me know if you have any specific topics you want me to talk about. I'm really open. I'm here to give you hope and support. And so if you have specific things you want me to talk about, let me know. I need to get going. It's getting late, and I need to get the rest that I just talked about. So I'll let you guys go. Let me know how you're doing, and if you want to contact me privately, I will leave my email in the description box. Know that I just don't always get to the comments, and even in emails, it might take me a little while to get back to you, but I will respond. So yeah, I hope you're all doing well, and take care of yourself. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.